Right now, your brain is hiding something from you. Not a memory, not a feeling, something stranger. Every one of us has experienced moments that science cannot fully explain. The eerie certainty that you have lived this moment before. The dream that came true. The sudden knowledge of something you had no way of knowing. Your brain has a dark side, and it is more fascinating than anything you have ever been told. We tend to think of the human mind as a rational machine, processing information, making decisions, building an accurate picture of reality. But beneath that rational surface lies something far more mysterious. A vast, unconscious architecture that operates by rules we do not fully understand, producing experiences that challenge everything. Science thought it knew about perception, memory, and consciousness. Today, we explore 6 extraordinary and unexplained phenomena of the human mind. Not pseudoscience, not mythology. Real, documented, peer-reviewed experiences that the world's most brilliant neuroscientists and psychologists cannot fully account for. These are not fringe theories. They are documented in the most prestigious scientific journals in the world. By the end of this video, you will never look at your own mind the same way again. The first phenomenon is one almost every human being has experienced. You are in a conversation or walking into a room, and suddenly, with absolute certainty, you feel that you have been here before, that this exact moment has already happened. This is deja vu. And despite being one of the most universal human experiences, science has never fully explained it. The leading theory suggests it occurs when the brain familiarity system misfires. For a fraction of a second, a new experience is processed as a memory before consciousness catches up. The present moment feels like the past because, neurologically, it is briefly labeled as one. But this theory has a problem. It explains the feeling of familiarity. It does not explain why deja vu so often comes with an uncanny sense of knowing what will happen next. Something that feels, uncomfortably, like prescience. Some researchers suggest deja vu is a window into the mechanics of memory itself. Others propose it involves a temporary desynchronization between brain hemispheres. What everyone agrees on, we do not fully understand it. And that, for a phenomenon experienced by over 70% of the human population, is extraordinary. The second phenomenon is more disturbing. You wake up in your bed. You can see your room, but you cannot move. You cannot speak. You cannot scream. And often, there is a presence, a figure in the corner, a weight on your chest, a shadow that feels, with absolute conviction, malevolent. This is sleep paralysis, and it has haunted human beings across every culture in recorded history. Neuroscience has a partial explanation. During REM sleep, the brain paralyzes the body to prevent us from acting out dreams. Sleep paralysis occurs when consciousness returns before the paralysis lifts, leaving the mind awake inside a body it cannot move. The hallucinations are thought to be dream imagery, bleeding into waking consciousness. The brain, still half in a dream state, generates vivid sensory experiences that feel completely real. But here is what science cannot explain. Why is the presence almost universally experienced as threatening? Why, across cultures that have never had contact, does sleep paralysis produce the same terrifying figure? The cross-cultural consistency of the sleep paralysis experience remains one of the most unsettling mysteries in neuroscience. The third phenomenon challenges our understanding of memory itself. The Mandela Effect describes large groups of people sharing the same false memory, a collective misremembering so vivid it feels more real than reality. The most famous example: millions of people clearly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. He did not. He was released in 1990. And yet the false memory is shared in extraordinary detail by people across continents who have never met. Psychologists explain this through constructive memory. Human memory is not a recording. It is a reconstruction. Every time we recall something, we rebuild it from fragments that can be contaminated by suggestion and social influence. But this explanation struggles with the scale of some Mandela Effect cases. When thousands of people independently recall the same false detail, the standard model of individual memory distortion begins to strain. Some researchers propose the Mandela Effect reveals something profound about the social nature of memory, that human beings share the construction of reality itself in ways that can collectively diverge from what actually happened. Your memories are not yours alone. They are partly a social artifact. The fourth phenomenon is perhaps the most personally significant. You have a feeling about someone you just met. No logical reason, but something tells you with quiet certainty that this person cannot be trusted. Months later, you discover you were right. We call this intuition. Science calls it something more interesting. Research by neuroscientist Antonio Damasio showed that the body begins responding to the correct answer before the conscious mind knows what it is. In his Iowa gambling task, participants chose correctly long before articulating any strategy, their palms sweating, their bodies signaling knowledge their minds had not yet accessed. Damasio called this the somatic marker hypothesis. What we experience as intuition is the surface signal of an enormous unconscious pattern recognition system, one that processes far more information than conscious thought ever could. But here is what makes this extraordinary. Some of the most rigorous research on intuition suggests that certain forms of knowing operate in ways that still exceed our full understanding. Your gut may be smarter than your brain, and science is only beginning to understand why. Your brain's darkest secrets are not dark because they are frightening. They are dark because they are unknown. Deja vu, sleep paralysis, the Mandela Effect, intuition. Each one is a window into the parts of your mind that science has not yet mapped. Each one reminds you that the organ you use to understand the world is itself not fully understood. The mystery is not a failure. It is an invitation to keep asking. Which of these phenomena have you personally experienced? Deja vu, sleep paralysis, a Mandela Effect memory, or a moment of intuition you simply could not explain? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and your experience matters. If this video expanded your understanding of your own mind, hit the like button. Subscribe to OMNIA, because next time we go even deeper. Welcome to OMNIA.